name is Hasha Amni binti Hamdani. My matric number is 2022878352.
My name is Mushafika binti Sarah Kaznan and my matric number is 2022460016.
Hi, my name is Yusra Najla binti Yaakob. My matric number is 2022820188. In this video, we'll be discussing about related rates and we're from Faculty AS120214. Related rates is a fundamental concept in calculus that deals with the understanding and analysis of how different variables change with respect to one another. It involves studying the rates of change of interconnected quantities and determining how they affect each other. Numerous factors in real-world circumstances are interrelated, and modifications to one variable may have an effect on others. By studying how the rates of change of these variables are related rates problems seek to analyze these relationships. Various fields, including physics, engineering, economics, and biology, all have related rates issues. They offer a useful tool for analyzing and interpreting dynamic systems, enabling us to forecast outcomes and address real-world issues. Typically, calculus techniques, notably derivatives and the chain rule, are used to address related rate problems. Overall, related rates are important in calculus because they offer a framework for examining how variables evolve together.
Next, the problem statement. Two sides of a triangle are 7 cm and 8 cm in length, and the angle between them is increasing at a rate of 0.04 radian per second. Find the rate of which the area of the triangle is increasing when the angle is pi/6 radian. To find the answer for this question, we need to use formula area equal to 1/2 AB sin C. And then we need to differentiate the area over time to get dA over dt equal to 1/2 AB cos C dC over dt. Fill the formula with the inputs given, which is A is 7, B is 8, C is pi/6 and dC over dt is 0.04. And then we calculate them in radian to get the answer 1433/25 cm square per second, or in decimal 0.9699 cm square per second.
For real-life examples, we can see there are countless situations in many different industries. Related rates are useful. Here are a few illustrations, such as physics, engineering, and economics. Firstly, for physics industry, related rates are used to comprehend how objects move, for instance, in projectile motion. Besides that, to estimate a moving object's speed, acceleration, and distance traveled. Secondly, in engineering, they use it to analyze an optimal system, like evaluate the flow rates of fluids through pipe or channels to ensure effective and secure transportation for liquids and gases. Last but not least, in economic industry, economists use to conduct analysis focusing on supply and demand. Using related rates is easier to determine changes in market dynamics such as rates of production, consumption or pricing of goods and services.
In the next slide, there will be a video talking about related rate example in real life in economic perspective.
An operating expense is any expenditure made for the purpose of operating a business. These expenses are the day-to-day costs that help keep the business going. Operating expenses are reflected on the income statement and are a component of operating income. Typical operating expenses are accounting and legal fees, bank charges, sales and marketing expenses, travel and entertainment, interest paid on debt, non-capitalized research and development, office supplies, rent, repair and maintenance, utility expenses, costs of goods sold, and salary and wages. Management's goal is to maximize profits. They have two interrelated options for achieving this: increasing revenue and decreasing operating expenses. Management sometimes makes the mistake of focusing entirely on cutting operating expenses to increase profits. But ultimately, overly severe cuts to operating expenses reduce productivity and lowers profit. For instance, management could increase short-term profitability by reducing an operating expense such as advertising. But in the long run, sales will decline, as fewer customers are aware of the company and its products. Instead, the challenge is to keep operating expenses as low as possible, but still maintain the ability to increase sales.
In conclusion, related rate problems are ways to use calculus to understand variables change in relation to one another. We can learn more about dynamic system and find solutions to real-life issues by examining the rate of change of interrelated quantities. Not just that, to model real-world events and forecast how variables will change over time using methods like derivative and chain rule to create connection between relevant variables. In areas like physics, economics, and biology, where knowledge of how variables affect and interact with each other is important, understanding this idea will enable us to solve challenging questions, optimize processes, and make precise predictions.
To sum up our video presentation, we have pretty much covered the most relevant questions for calculus related rates. Of course, there are many other questions for related rates calculus. However, as long as you follow the steps, you should be able to do any question you like. If you want more practice problems, then I recommend you to take a look at your notebooks or at Google. You can search all the practice materials at Google. What can we get at the end of this lesson? At the end of this lesson, we can learn how to solve related rates question, understand related rates better, and learn how to use derivatives to solve related rates. That's all for our video presentation. Thank you. Have a nice day.